Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 25 map guide. Today we're going to take a look at the Risoux forest. But before that, this video is brought to you by Brie Milk and Quantum. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Risoux forest map can be found at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Now this is a forestry themed map, which makes the file size rather interesting at 383 megabytes. Typically forestry maps are smaller in size than kind of typical farming maps because of the dense forests and not using a whole lot of custom buildings or textures or assets. But this one, it's a pretty good size for just being a forestry map. Let me read you some of the description. The Mysteries of Risoux Forest is back, a place where every path whispers a secret and every shadow hides an enigma. You know what? Hold on. Let's table the description, because I don't know if the birds are getting to you, but they're pretty loud in my ear, and I want to get out here kind of a little bit further out of the forest. Hopefully the bird sounds will make their way a little bit quieter, and it'll be a little less distracting. At least a little less distracting to me. If not, well then, I'm sorry. There, that's a little better. So let's go and take a look back here at the description. Explore this natural setting full of mysteries, where only the most attentive will be able to detect the hidden elements. Stumps, cabins, huts invisible to the distracted eye. Armed with your instinct and curiosity, set off to discover buried clues and emblematic characters. In this forestry map with more than 20,000 trees, there are 3 sell points. I honestly counted 4, and 1 sawmill. There is a collection of mushrooms to look for. So there are collectibles, they are mushrooms, and there are 71 of them. There are also destructible rocks. The winding and steep paths can also be a good opportunity to do some motorcycle riding. This map contains 19 fields to buy, 70 wooden plots, 1 water source, AI network has been set up for easy movement, and 1 new set of ground textures to enhance your landscape building. With that, let's kind of dig in and take a look at the PDA. So when we start right up here, kind of right outside of, I'll just call it the town. And then if we zoom out, you're going to see that pretty much we have scattered around the map random small fields. We do have, let's get rid of our grass here. Let's get rid of the yellow. We do have roads kind of meandering here, there, and yonder. And there is a whole hillside here dedicated to kind of growing of some trees. We have a water source up here to the north, farmland ID 24. And then we have a few sell points. One up here in the northwest, one down here in the southwest, and then we have a few here in town. And in the southeast, we do have our sawmill. That's pretty much the nature of this map. Our starting farm is going to be right here, farmland ID 60. If we select to not own the farm at the start, then we do not have any starting machinery and we do not have any buildings here on this little plot of land that we're standing on right now. If we do start this map with no starting machinery, i.e. we don't own the farm, we can buy this land for $14,898. In addition, we also own this forestry plot, farmland ID 62, for $40,000. Other than that, like I said, we have some fields scattered around and a whole lot of forestry. Now this map does have all the standard crops available to us in Farm Sim 25 on this map. So should we choose to actually do some agriculture on here, we do have all the crops available to us. If we take a look at our crop counter, we also do have our standard FS25 crop calendar. Looking at our animals, we do not have any animals pre-placed on this map. We do have contracts available. They include dead wood, wood transport, and I assume, as the description said, stone crushing contracts. We have 1 available production on this map, and that is going to be the sawmill. As I mentioned, we have 4 sell points scattered around this map. If we take a look at our starting fleet, if we do own a starting farm. Then we have the International Series 200 pickup truck. We've got a John Deere 843L. That's going to be our, I don't know what you want to call that piece of machinery, but we're going to be able to cut down trees and stuff. We've got the John Deere 8R tractor. We have the Komatsu 951 tree harvester. We've got the Ponzi Bison active frame forwarder. We have the TMC Concealia TFR 250. This is going to be a forestry mulcher. And then we have the the EGV, 65AHKSG log winch. So clearly this is indeed a forestry themed map because that's pretty much the focus of our starting machinery. We do not have any hand tools, which is kind of interesting. I thought we'd start with chainsaw. We will test that though here in a minute because there have been some maps where we didn't have hand tools listed here, but we did have them available. And as I mentioned, we do have 71 custom collectibles, and those are going to be mushrooms. So no, we do not have any hand tools other than our flashlight here at the start. So as I mentioned, if we don't own the farm, this building's not here, the garage is not here, the starting machinery is not here, but the farmhouse is. So here we have our farmhouse. We have our sleep and wardrobe trigger located right there. And someone's home because someone's got something cooking here on the grill. So the map has really cool kind of things going on, deco things, and just things to just generally check out. Kind of as the description said, it's even worth, if you're not going to be doing forestry on the map, it's definitely worth downloading and just kind of driving around with the motorcycle side by side, checking out the forest. Now let's meander in here. We've got this path. And let's take this path around here because I think this is going to be the start of possibly some of these mysteries that the description says we have here on this map. So we kind of got this gnarled tree. And on this gnarled tree, well, we've got, I don't know what this says because I haven't read it. But at any rate, it's a riddle. I'm not into riddles, so I'm not even going to bother with it. But you know what? If you're into riddles, then this might be a fun little map to explore and try to solve its mysteries. Remember I said we had custom mushrooms. Well, here we go. This is what the custom collectibles are going to look like. Let's make our way back over here to town, and we'll take a look at what is available kind of in town as far as sell points go. We do have lots of ambient sounds, that is definitely for sure. So right over here, to our right, we had our farmhouse. To our left, well, here we do have our animal dealer. So if we do go and buy animal pens, we will be able to do animals here. We also have a bale sell point. Further into our little town area, we have a sell point here. And we also have a fuel point. Not so sure about the icon of choice, but at any rate, this is going to be where we can refuel our vehicles. We have our vehicle dealer located right here with our dealer maintenance trigger. And then we have our dealer buy trigger for our machinery. Let's go ahead and pick up a side by side. We'll see where that spawns here on this side of the building. So a decent sized area for our vehicles to spawn. Not the biggest overall, but again, given the fact that this is kind of a forestry themed map, I don't see us buying a whole lot of machinery at any one point in time. And then down from our farm area, we've got this other shed. And we have another sell point located right here. We do also have a stone crusher available on the map located right there. I'd say it's definitely worth kind of exploring around, seeing what might be found. If you know what I'm talking about. Now let's get a little altitude and kind of take a look above the tree line here at what this map has to offer. So here we have our farm, right, where we start in the little town area that we just kind of explored. If we pull up the mini map, we are now kind of looking to the south. We'll see that this map has lots of rolling hills and hillsides. This is that kind of hillside of trees that I talked about, kind of some organized tree farm going on there. And then we have right below it a field. More fields over here to the north. We have that river or that water source that I mentioned, located right there. Coming down from the mountainside. And if we keep making our way up this road, we're going to find our way over here to the northwestern cell point. There we've got our little farmhouse, and we have another cell point right there. Let's take a look across the map. There we have that hillside where I said we had those trees planted. Give you a little frame of reference there. Now overall, let's talk about performance. This map performs pretty well, even on a lower end system. I was seeing frame rates in the 30s to 40s, and with my suggested low end settings, which is going to be a custom medium with FSR enabled, which means we have frame gen also enabled. That means while we're getting 30 to 40 real frames, when we double those, we're basically getting to our eye 80 to 120 FPS. No, sorry, 60 to 80. I don't even know where I was thinking here. 60 to 80 FPS to our eyes, which is going to look pretty darn good, even on a lower end system, possibly using integrated graphics or very, very low end, kind of older graphics cards as well. Here we have another one of these cell points. This one's located in here by field 12 to the southwest. And now if we make our way kind of across the southern part of the map, we're going to make our way over to the only production that is available on this map, and that is going to be our sawmill. Now just kind of casually looking down here at the forest, we find, oh look, is this one of the treats that we find floating trees? I doubt that's really intended to be one of the surprises on the map. So hopefully the map will get updated to plant those further down in the ground. But at any rate, as I was saying, we're kind of just looking down here at the forest. I'm not really seeing a whole lot going on, but I suspect that there are surprises in here that have kind of very, very short view distances, and as such, they really don't pop up until you get right up close to them. So here we have our sawmill production. We have our pallet spawn point. We have our interactive icon, our dump point for our logs, and our wood cell trigger. And that is pretty much the sawmill. And that is pretty much the map. I mean, there's not a lot going on, but at the same point in time, there is a lot going on. Just kind of got to get down in here and kind of experience the map for yourself and really just kind of see what is going on. I know the map author probably spent a lot of time in putting this stuff together, so it would be worth checking out, even if you're not into forestry. But I do think this looks like it could be a pretty good forestry themed map as well. And it's going to run very well on just about any system. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below with respect to this particular map or any other maps. Maybe what maps are you most looking for coming to Farming Simulator 25 that we don't have released yet? I was looking at my FS22 playlist of maps the other day. 444 maps covered in FS22. Right now, we're sitting around 29 maps released for Farm Sim 25. We have a long way to go and a whole lot of maps yet to take a look at during the life of FS25. It's still very, very young as far as a game is concerned. So I look very forward to what the next few years might have to bring. And until next time, happy farming.